Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a pretty harsh reality. We're going to look at why your most well-intentioned everyday habits might actually be causing your cat some hidden distress. We're diving into the fascinating science of feline behavior, and trust me on this one, it's completely going to change how you view your furry best friend. So here's the tough truth. We do these 6 things out of pure love, right? But science reveals that we're actually unknowingly operating on human-centric assumptions. We're basically taking human logic and applying it to a feline brain. And without even realizing it, we're slowly chipping away at their sense of safety in their very own home. Part 1. Breaking their trust and the silent emotional toll. This really starts with raising our voices. Look, when you yell because they just knocked a glass off the counter, they don't learn cause and effect at all. A 2021 study from the Journal of Veterinary Behavior shows that cats just register the sheer volume and that aggressive energy. It doesn't correct the behavior one bit. It just quietly destroys your bond and makes them see you as a completely unpredictable threat. We also break their trust by buying into this huge cultural myth that cats are just aloof. But a study in Current Biology actually proves the exact opposite. Cats form genuine, secure attachment bonds with us, literally exactly like a dog or a human infant would. They aren't just indifferent roommates, they are actively waiting for you to come home. And because of that deep bond, when they're left alone for 12 hours a day, they suffer an absolute silence. They don't howl or chew up the sofa like a dog might. Instead, they internalize it. This prolonged isolation leads to severe behavioral breakdowns, things like anxiety, overgrooming, and litter box issues. Your cat absolutely notices your absence, and they feel it deeply. Part 2. Starving their wild instincts or biology over convenience. 10%. That is the shockingly low moisture content of dry kibble. Let's think about this for a second. Cats evolved as desert predators, which means they're hardwired to get almost all their hydration directly from their prey. They really aren't naturally built to just drink from a water bowl. So a dry-only diet literally forces them into a state of chronic, low-level dehydration. The medical gravity of this is really highlighted by the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association. This constant dehydration puts immense pressure on their urinary tract, and it quietly destroys their kidneys over time. Kidney disease is actually the #1 killer of older cats. But the good news is we can give them a real fighting chance with just a simple dietary tweak. We also inadvertently starve their minds by depriving them of their biological hunting sequence. And no, staring at a single moth on the ceiling for 3 hours doesn't really count. Their brains are entirely built around this exact 6-step sequence, going all the way from the stalk to the eat. If an indoor cat goes for weeks without actually executing this, a vital part of their mind just starts to shut down. The behavioral fallout from this is pretty striking. If your cat is sleeping all day, they aren't just being lazy. Their mind is literally starving. Research from the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery shows they desperately need just 10 to 15 minutes of daily interactive play. Taking a wand toy that mimics real prey movement activates that whole hunting sequence and completely brings them back to life. Part 3. Invading their safe spaces. Boundaries and vulnerability. So, why did my cat just bite me? If you have ever been enjoying a sweet cuddle session when your cat suddenly turns into a tiny bear trap, snapping at your hand and sprinting off, well, it all comes down to misinterpreting their biology. You definitely didn't do it on purpose, but you likely just pressed the wrong button. This phenomenon is called petting-induced overstimulation. And the grand irony here is that showing you their belly is the ultimate sign of feline trust. But when you go in and rub it, you accidentally trigger a massive spike in stress hormones. Because you're overwhelming their highly sensitive nerve endings, you unknowingly betray the very trust they just showed you. The takeaway here is you simply cannot pet them like a dog. A University of Lincoln study confirms that for cats, you must stick strictly to the safe zones. We're talking the cheeks, the base of the ears, and under the chin. You've got to stop those long, sweeping strokes down the back and definitely avoid the base of the tail. If you see their ears flatten or their tails start to thump, that is your absolute cue to stop immediately. We also violate their safety by shoving litter boxes into dark, enclosed closets just because it looks a bit better for us. But research in applied animal behavior science proves this is actually a terrifying trap. Think about it. When a cat uses the bathroom, they are incredibly vulnerable. Putting their box in a tight, dead-end corner goes against absolutely every predator-prey survival instinct they have. To fix this spatial anxiety and give them those vital escape routes, animal behaviorists rely heavily on a very simple, non-negotiable formula. It's called the N+1 rule. Basically, this gives your cats options and ensures they never feel cornered or trapped when they just need to go about their business. So, here is what that looks like in practice. If you have a two-cat household, you need 3 litter boxes to completely eliminate territorial tension. 3 boxes placed in open, distinct areas of the house. Sure, it might not be aesthetic enough for a magazine cover, but it is exactly what your cats need to feel genuinely secure. Part 4. Rebuilding the feline bond by shifting your perspective. Now, the amazing news is that the solutions here are wonderfully simple. By just mixing some wet food into their diet, engaging in 10 minutes of active play, respecting those safe petting zones, and offering open litter boxes, you are going to see a completely transformed cat. And hey, when you come home after a long day, just drop your bags and give them 5 minutes of real, focused connection. It goes a really long way. Because to your cat, you aren't just an owner, you are the architect of their entire reality. So are you building a world that honors their ancient instincts, or one that quietly breaks them? Make these small, empathetic shifts and watch your relationship truly thrive. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.